and they didn't want to adopt a baby that had any kind of disabilities. I mean, that's your prerogative, when you adopt a child. It's the one time you can say, I have a preference, I mean, when you're born, you give birth to somebody, that's it. But they relinquished her and put her back in the foster care system because they didn't feel they had what it took to raise her. And so this adoptive mother, Sandy, I mean, it was the most difficult decision she ever made in her life. It was her daughter. And I remember, I didn't even know she would meet with me, but she did. And when we started talking, she said, turn off that tape recorder. And I just had to stop. And she just told me her story. It was the first time she ever shared what her experience was, what it was like of giving up your daughter, but she wanted to tell, and it just made the story so rich. It's human experience. We all have our challenges. We're all born with something, whether it's mental health or not fitting in or being abused. It's the human experience. And Memoir is a vehicle to share the human experiences, to share our stories with others so other people can benefit. And also, what else, Marlene, is that the story itself, the process itself of writing a memoir, because I'm going to have you dig deep. And I mean, I could go into the process a little bit more, but the healing is never done. And so you can get to the point where you're ready to share the story. You have to be ready, because there's one thing of going through the experience, but then being ready to share it. And that process of writing a memoir, it just takes the healing that much more, so you have to really be committed to it. It's not an easy experience to write a memoir, but it's worth it. She didn't she didn't believe in abortion personally, so she wanted to give birth to the baby and then place it for adoption. But the birth father, who was one of these unusual young men, and Jess was 17, she was a babe, but the birth father, BJ, was 22, but he was one of these unusual, wonderful young men that believed in family so much so he actually wanted a parent. But Jess, she couldn't do that. She felt that as the birth mother, she wanted to make sure that Zoe, and her name was Colleen at that time. But so anyway, the birth father ended up suing for custody of the baby. I'm trying to remember the adoptive family. The adoption was going to come through. Then the birth father said claim custody. So then Jess, she had already given up Zoe. She had to go and pick Zoe up from foster care to bring her back after she said goodbye in the hospital, hysterical, because she didn't want BJ to have him, to parent. And BJ felt this was the most important thing in my life. I have to do this. This is my baby.